right, and we are back with another Kinetics at home or travel workout. This is definitely one that if you have some equipment available to you, bands or dumbbells or kettlebells or any sort of odd object perhaps that you could load up some of these movements, this is a great one to take advantage of that and sneak those in, and we'll show you a couple options of how you can do that. Let's get started with our prep section first. So 3 to 4 sets here, again, depending on time that you have allocated. Starting off 1 minute of seal jacks. Second, after that, we're gonna have 5 per side, 3 direction lunges. Last element is going to be a 30-second pike hold. And let's get started showing you what we got here. So our seal jacks, really simple. They're just a jumping jack variation. Instead of going overhead with our arms, we're coming in front of ourselves. So same idea, same concept, legs extend, only now my hands are coming together versus overhead. Pretty simple. All right, emphasize that pull with the upper back, with the shoulder blades, pulling those arms back into that T position. After that, we have our 3-direction lunge. So basically every 3 lunges is going to be 1 rep. And our 3 directions are forward, lateral, and reverse. So it's really just a combination of other lunge variations that we have and use. So starting in my start position here, I'm gonna step out into a forward lunge, come up. I'm going to step out into a lateral lunge, back to center, and I'm gonna step back into a reverse lunge. So a slightly different angle here. And I'm going to step out into a forward lunge. I'm going to step out to a lateral lunge, then step back to a reverse lunge. Okay? 5 reps on each side. 1 rep is a cycle through each position, right? So forward, lateral, reverse equals 1 rep. You're gonna do that 5 times, switch sides, repeat. Make sure, especially on those lateral lunges, keeping the torso upright, brace through the belly, and the foot that is squatting or lunging, the foot is flat on the floor, okay? Other leg is extended. Our last thing we have here is a 30-second pike hold. I'm gonna show you on the wall, but I recommend using a couch or a bench or a box, something that you have that you can elevate your feet. You're gonna wanna try and get it high enough so that you can create that kind of L position with your body here. If you can't get yourself completely into that vertical position with your torso, that's fine, don't stress about it. Get yourself as close to that as possible, okay? So all I'm gonna do is walk myself up, and I wanna create a 90-degree roughly angle here, and then get myself into that vertical torso position, right? The goal here, guys, is that we want the back and shoulders to be stacked straight up and down, okay? Or as close to that as you can get, given the elements that you have available. If this is completely off the table, just simply replace it with a feet elevated tall plank. Just like it sounds, you're gonna put your feet up onto that bench or couch or chair, whatever you have available, and we're just gonna get into a regular tall plank-like position, okay? And we're gonna hold that, okay? So you'll have your 3 to 4 sets of those movements, and then we're gonna move on to our sweat piece. Now today's sweat piece, the structure of it's gonna be 3 to 4 sets of each superset. So we have 3 supersets we're gonna go through today. Superset meaning you do 1 exercise, then the other, then go back to exercise number 1, right? And you repeat that 3 to 4 times, again, given the amount of time that you have available to sneak this in today. So first superset we have are kickstand squats coupled with bent over reverse flies. 8 to 12 reps here, so we're giving you a rep range and a set range so that you can kind of make adjustments based on your fitness level, based on equipment you have available, and based on time that's available to you. So our kickstand squat with no added weight, I'm gonna take my normal squat stance and I'm just gonna scoot 1 foot back slightly, about a foot's length is good enough. From here, I'm going to squat, okay? So that back foot will be up on the ball of my foot. Let me scoot back a little bit, hopefully you can see my feet. There we go. Okay, so my back foot's gonna be elevated up onto my toe, right? So I slide that foot back slightly, and from here, I'm gonna squat as if my left leg is a normal squat for me, and then this is the variant on the right. Okay? I want a little bit more, I wanna favor my left leg a little bit more in this position. So a little bit more work, 60 to 70% of the work is coming from that foot that is flat. Okay? I will do 8 to 12 of those on each side. You can certainly grab yourself a kettlebell or a set of kettlebells, right? And we can turn this into a front rack position, kickstand squat, okay? Overhead, if you're fancy. Okay, goblet position, any of those things can work. So make it your own if you have equipment available to do so. 8 to 12 per side there, then we'll move on to our bent over reverse fly, 8 to 12 reps here as well, okay? With our bent over reverse fly, we're gonna hinge, do a good hinge position here. Slight bend in the elbows is fine, and we're bringing the arms up, squeezing the shoulder blades together, similar to when we do an IYT. This is similar to the T position, right? Although we're gonna allow a slight arm bend today. Now, if you have dumbbells and kettlebells, by all means, grab them and load it up, okay? Keeping yourself in that bent over position, bringing the shoulder blades together, control through the movement. Don't just kind of flop them down, right? If you do not, you can grab simple things like, you know, maybe some soup cans or something that you have available, something that you have, an odd object around the house that you can grip. They're relatively light, right? It doesn't have to be a super heavy thing, and you can perform this movement with that. If nothing's available, you can absolutely take any of these movements, slow them down, isolate different positions, and hold. So a really great one here, hinging at the hip, and I'm just going to flex hard through my shoulder blades and pull my arms up, nice and slow. Hold this as hard as I can, like I'm trying to like squish a grape or something between my shoulder blades, and then back down. I don't know why I would try so hard to squish a grape, but you get what I'm saying. We're squeezing up there. Nice and control, back down and back up. Hard contraction here, right? Like you're trying to pull as hard as you can, bringing those shoulder blades together. So that's a way that you can change this up if you don't have any equipment available, no bands or dumbbells or kettlebells or anything like that, and nothing kind of odd object stuff that you can grab from around the house. So be creative if you can. If you can't, use that isometric hold and that really slow, controlled tempo up and down. Once we're done with 3 to 4 sets there, we move on. Wall sit with an arm slide. So I'm gonna get myself against the wall, drop down to about 90-degree bend at the knees and hips, arms on the wall. I'm trying to keep my forearms and wrist planted flat along the wall here, and I'm just gonna slide my hands up, nice and controlled, and pull them back down. Really working to try and keep my forearms and my wrists on the wall. This is really hard for me, especially on my left side is a little bit more challenging. I can feel my arm wanting to like peel away and get off the wall. So fight to hold that back and keep those arms glued to the wall. 8 to 12 controlled reps there, followed by single leg RDLs. So for our single leg RDL, really simple to just do this with no weight. We want to brace. We want, as the chest drops, the other leg comes up and then right back down. Nice and smooth and controlled here. We don't want to be lifting this back leg and then just bending forward. And that's not what we're doing today. We want it to move all in one movement, right? Everything isolated to the hip, and then the rest of me moves around the hip. So as the foot comes up, I'm pushing that heel towards the back wall. I'm dropping the chest at the same time, right? If you have to limit range of motion, by all means do so. Really simple to add some band tension or dumbbells or kettlebells to this, right? And now we can go right into that single leg RDL. Same idea. I'm just loading it and right back up. So just like before, if you have access to that equipment, add it in. If you have things around the house that you can substitute for equipment, absolutely add it in. If you don't, work on tempo and control with body weight alone. From there, and that's 8 to 12 reps on each leg. From there, we're moving on to our last superset. thoracic bridge, and a bird dog. 4 to 6 reps per side for this movement. Okay, so our thoracic bridge is going to start in a quadruped position. And I'm going to step through, bridge up. I can reach overhead or across my body and let that arm drop. Either one is fine. When I'm done, I step back, quadruped, and I can either continue all on one side or alternate, whichever you prefer. But you're stepping through into that bridge position from your hands and feet. If that's really tough for you and feels cumbersome, step through once, get yourself set up, and then just do all of the reps on that side. So what that would look like is my step through. Once I get here, I'm gonna extend the hip and reach, come back down, extend the hip and reach, come back down, right? Nice and controlled through those. After I complete each side, I'm gonna go to my bird dogs. Bird dogs, I'm gonna get into another quadruped position, but this time with my knees down, okay? And from here, I'm just going to reach and extend opposite arm and opposite leg. I want to flex at that end range of motion, back down, elbow to knee, back out. Nice and smooth and controlled. Okay, we're not trying to rush through these and see how quickly we can get them done. We're trying to hold a lot of tension and stretch the body out long, pushing that heel towards the back of the room and reaching that up arm towards the front. Again, 4 to 6 real slow, controlled movements here with hard isometric contraction. So make yourself work hard. You get to that reaching endpoint, wherever that is for you, and you're gonna reach and hold like you're trying to grab whatever you need, right? Or you're trying to kick back through the wall behind you, right? We wanna create as much tension as we can in those positions today. And that would be the last superset we have. From there, we'll grab ourselves a sip of water and we will get ready for our saddle pose. 5 minutes here in our breathe section in saddle pose. I'm going to get in a kneeling position and I'm gonna start to sit back. Now from here, I can drop down towards my elbows. Okay, I can just keep my hands planted. I like to, especially if I'm gonna try and breathe and sit in this position for a while, do this on the end of like a couch or have a stack of pillows, or if I'm at the gym, a medicine ball that I put underneath my back to support me so that I'm getting a good stretch, but I'm also able to breathe and relax into this position a little bit, okay? Don't skip it. Spend your 5 minutes here. Close those eyes. Deep diaphragmatic breaths. If you can extend it to 10 or 15 minutes and combine that breath work into some meditation for the day, that's a great idea. I highly recommend it. Other than that, enjoy your workout. We'll see you next time.